I'm here to talk about the logos from Major League Baseball. There are an awful lot of them, so let's get started. First team are the Arizona Diamondbacks. We see here a giant A that's green and purple. And there's a silhouette of a snake's head in the middle. Clever. Its second logo is now red and black. Whoa, Diamondbacks are two colors? I guess so. The Atlanta Braves. The logo most people know is the word brave written cursively with a tomahawk. Not too bad. The Baltimore Orioles. One of their first logos depicts an Oriole on top of a baseball. And in case you were not aware, that is an Oriole. They then had a picture of an Oriole holding a baseball bat. I wasn't aware that Orioles had opposable thumbs or even fingers. One of their more recent logos is cursively handwritten, where it says Orioles, and an Oriole is on top. Very basic. And now the Oriole looks in the other direction. We have here the Boston Bean Eaters, one of the original teams. I can't make sense of this logo. I can see the B, but what are the points of these other lines? That's just weird. There's also a team called the Boston Braves. A brave is another word for a Native American, not someone who has a lot of courage. This particular Native American is looking to the left, similar to the Chicago Blackhawks logo. The Boston Doves. Doves? I'm not sure which way. Similar to the previous problem, we have too many lines in the middle. That just makes this more confusing. The Boston Red Sox. Fantastic. We see the word Boston written on a red sock. Now we have a pair of socks. Boston Red Sox. Remember, it's plural. Oh, now we see those same socks on top of a baseball. Oh, more Red Sox. The more recent incarnation. These remind me of Christmas socks. The Boston Rustlers, a team that no longer exists. I can see the B, but these lines in the middle, I don't know. The Brooklyn Draft Dodgers. I'm sorry, just the Dodgers. This was their first logo. Similar to the previous example, we have all these abstract lines that bemuddle what the point of the concept is. Another Brooklyn Dodgers logo. I believe this is supposed to be a baseball field with a B in the middle. Brooklyn Dodgers again. You see the B and a triangle in the middle. I don't know what the point of that is. The Chicago Cubs. Once more, this symbol fails to stimulate the imagination, so I can immediately associate this with the word cub. A little better. We see here a cub with what appears to be a boner and a large tail. Another Chicago Cub logo. This doesn't really resemble a bear in the middle, but more of a dog. How did they mess that up? Chicago Cubs. The word cub is written with capital letters enclosed in a circle. Another Chicago Cubs logo. They decided to get colorful and added a blue and red. Ooh, the Chicago White Sox. Looking at this, I would not envision a pair of white socks. More like a hair clipper. The word socks written vertically. Again, where are the socks? You can see a white socks, but not a pair of white socks. I grew up with this symbol for the Chicago White Sox. We see a blue baseball player, of course, with red hands holding a bat. Again, we don't see any socks. Well, here we see the word Sox. That's still no Sox. The Toronto Blue Jays. Oh yeah! We see the head of a Blue Jay. And just to remind you, this maple leaf indicates they play in Canada. Oh! A more contemporary version of a Blue Jay. We can see him holding a bat and a ball, and he seems to have acquired some muscle mass. Wonder how he did that. Let's zoom in. The word Jays. They got rid of the word blue and just called them Jay. Would you guess this belongs to the Cincinnati Reds? I wouldn't either. I can see a crescent moon and what might be a T. How was that Cincinnati? Again, Cincinnati Reds. This has nothing to do with their logo, their name. A little better. The word Reds is enclosed within a C. Is this supposed to indicate that they're socialist? I wonder. What am I looking at here? The Cincinnati Reds stockings. We see someone with a early 20th century mustache with a baseball head running around carrying a bat. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of mascot we need. Oh, now he's running in the other direction. Just the word Reds, enclosed by the letter C. Would you ever guess this belongs to the Cleveland Indians? I wouldn't either. This is a little better. This resembles an Indian, but more of a Native American, not someone from India. Why is this Indian grinning? He looks kind of suspicious. Yeah, not much better. He seems to be a little too happy as he's about to swing for the ball. His skin tone changed to red. Where's he looking? Colorado Rockies. We see an image of the Rocky Mountains. The Detroit Tigers. If you weren't told this is a tiger, you might think it's a lion instead. A tiger needs stripes. Yeah, no stripes here. This tiger looks actually quite afraid. It doesn't really instill fear into their opponents. This does it much better. This tiger looks really upset. Ooh, clever. This tiger looks angry too, but I think it's because it got caught trying to slip through the D. Houston Astros. You see an image of their stadium. This works as long as they keep playing there. Once they move, no. I suppose they moved. Ooh, now they decided to use cursive handwriting. I don't quite understand why this star has a hole in it. Their most recent logo, the word Houston and Astro, enclosed within a circle. They were originally known as the Houston Colt 45s, named after a gun. Great job, guys. The Kansas City Royals. We have an image of a crown. Makes sense. And then they decided to add their team name with cursive handwriting. That's a good idea, because royalty would always use cursive handwriting. There once was a baseball team called the Kansas City Scouts. I almost thought this was a Rorschach test when I saw it, because I didn't know what I was looking at. I thought this was a two-headed dog. Turns out, it's a scout on top of a horse. The Los Angeles Angels. A pair of angelic wings on a baseball. Now we see the word Angels imposed on California. And in case you didn't know, they play right there, in Los Angeles. Back when they were known as the California Angels. We see a halo on top of an A. The Anaheim Angels before they became Los Angeles. I like this name more, but apparently this angel only has one wing. A more recent incarnation. The letter A with a halo. The Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't quite understand the principle behind this. Is someone trying to dodge a baseball? The Florida Marlins. An image of a marlin jumping through a circle and a baseball in the background. I give credit to the level of creativity. The Miami Marlins. I actually see two different images. This sort of resembles a marlin, but it almost appears as though this M is smoking weed. Good job, guys. The Milwaukee Braves. We see here a Native American looking off to the right. He doesn't look very brave to me. Another Milwaukee Brave logo. Is he singing? I assume the same facial expression whenever I go to the washroom. Let's zoom in here. Who do you think this belongs to? If you said the Milwaukee Brewers, you would be correct. When I hear the word brewer, imagining someone swinging a bat is the last thing that comes to mind. Same with the glove. Isn't a brewer someone who makes beer? Yeah, this isn't helping. An M and a B. This is exactly what we think of when we hear the word brewer. A little better, it actually says their name brewers, but at the same time, fails to correctly represent what a brewer does. The Minnesota Twins. The first logo showed a pair of twins. It says M and STP, which stand for Minneapolis and St. Paul. There's even a river in between. I suppose everyone there is Caucasian. This is actually a clever logo. Have you ever noticed that the word win is underlined? It sends a subliminal message. Kudos. The Montreal Expos. For the life of me, I never figured this one out. A J and a B. What does that stand for? And they also use lowercase letters. Montreal. Still, the J and the B, what does that stand for? The New York Mets. The word Met is superimposed on top of the New York skyline. The first logo for the New York Yankees. It's a little ugly. They should change it. And they did, to this. And this. We see a Yankee hat on top of a baseball bat. It's iconic. The New York Giants. Before they moved to San Francisco, there had been a New York Giants baseball club based there. The Philadelphia Phillies, their first logo. Tracing this image would be almost impossible. I don't know what this guy is supposed to be doing. They updated it to this. Picture of a bird. Is that a pigeon on top of the word Philly? This is a little strange. The word fighting, which is lacking at G, shows someone sliding into home base. This is probably their best logo. The word Philly is superimposed on top of the Liberty Bell, which Philadelphia is renowned for. This is the first logo used by the Pittsburgh Pirates. PB, what's the C? Club? They then updated to this, which is not much better. And I fail to understand this line, and then these lines. They then decided to use an image of an actual pirate. A little better. Improvement. Ooh, this pirate has an eye patch and earrings. Scary. And a goatee. The San Diego Padres. The word padre means father in Spanish. I wasn't aware that such holy men play baseball. The logo they use now is just the word padre imposed on a circular object. I'm pretty sure that's not a baseball. They decided to conform with the times. Adopted cursive handwriting, and there's a picture of a wave. Let's zoom in. The Seattle Mariners. This looks like to be a pitchfork. Pitchfork? Isn't that Satan's weapon of choice? Realizing this, Seattle changed their logo to just show an M and apostrophe S on top of a baseball. This one's a little weird. Looks like the cardinal points enclosed on a circle. I suppose Mariners need to always use a compass? Before the Mariners, Seattle had the Pilots. Apparently all pilots have wings and use a steering column? The San Francisco Giants before they became the New York Giants. I mean vice versa. Sorry. Oops. Then they used this logo, SF, which means science fiction. And then they wrote the word Giants on a baseball. How do you depict a giant, though? The Jolly Green Giant? They combined both ideas, SF and the word Giants. St. Louis has had a variety of teams. This one belongs to the St. Louis Browns. They actually named their team after a color. And then they upgraded to this logo, which I cannot comprehend. And then they went to this one. This symbol is synonymous with the French, but St. Louis made it brown. Really? Who thought of that? And now we see a brown king riding on top of a brown horse, holding a brown cross. Okay, let's move on. St. Louis Cardinals. We see a pair of cardinals, which emphasizes the plural. Nice. Now we only see one cardinal, so they should be called the St. Louis Cardinal. Again, this is a mistake. Only one cardinal. Still haven't fixed that problem. We should have two cardinals. The Tampa Bay Devil Rays. We see a devil and a ray, which makes it a double ray. Recently, they dumped the word devil due to its nefarious implication and just called themselves the Rays. Texas Rangers. Walker. A picture of a cowboy hat on top of a baseball. Chuck Norris would be proud. Ooh, they got rid of the hat. Just TR, a baseball, and a map of the state of Texas. Now they decided to use cursive handwriting. They got rid of the cursive writing and used printing, because people from Texas can't read cursive handwriting. Let's enlarge that font. The Washington Nationals. After the Expos folded, they moved to the U.S. Capitol. How would you depict the word national? Maybe by having a picture of the Capitol building on a baseball? With a baseball cap on it, of course. Or how about a picture of a senator throwing a baseball? obviously, and he needs to be Caucasian. This belongs to the Washington Senators, one of the original teams from Major League Baseball. We see here an image of someone from the early 20th century throwing a baseball in front of the Capitol House, Congress. Did that happen often? People playing baseball games in front of the building? I guess. And that concludes all the logos that have been used in Major League Baseball.